What was your first guitar?
It was a Guild F35. I have it tattooed on my arm because it's so fragile and old. It was my aunt's guitar, the one who got me my first lesson. She gave me that guitar and I've played it ever since. I still take it on tour with Joshua Radin. And yeah, it's on every single recording I've ever done. I knew I wanted to be a musician pretty much as soon as I could talk or say anything. I never really had any other aspirations. I was immediately interested in music. I used to dance around my bedroom to tapes and pretend I was every guy in the band. It was really just a matter of which instrument I was playing.
So how did you decide to be a guitarist?
My aunt got a call from a guitar teacher calling all the houses in the neighborhood, seeing if people were interested, and they got me lessons, and honestly, it took right away. So from the very first lesson, yep, this is what I'm going to do with the rest of my life.
Okay, so instrumental guitar. How did you discover that genre of music?
I would say a little bit accidentally. I have always been really interested in certain artists like Tommy Emmanuel, Leo Kottke, different parts of different bands that maybe on the instrumental side I was more interested in, like King Crimson or a lot of the progressive rock bands, you know. And when I was going to do something separate from good old horror, it just made sense to do something that was not vocal driven at all. And I wanted to see if I could, you know, if I could get as much guitar as possible, because that's been really my voice since the beginning. I love to sing, but I really express myself with the guitar. And I wanted to see if I could make a whole record that could actually captivate.
So I want to ask you about singing, because you didn't sing in the beginning.
Right.
And you were a little bit reluctant, right?
Yes.
But, so how did you get the confidence to start singing and recording your voice on an album?
You know, it didn't really happen on purpose. I don't think I got the confidence to sing on my own album. I think it happened organically. I was thinking that I would write the songs and sing the parts to give to other lead singers. I was thinking it would be kind of fun to collaborate with a bunch of friends of mine that sang in bands. And I started to think, like, actually this is pretty good. So the only person I did end up asking was Keith Goodwin from Good Old War, because I just thought that it's something I'd always wanted to do as a duet with him, something we just hadn't done in the band. So it just seemed like a perfect opportunity to write a song that would be really good for his voice, really good for my voice. We could kind of go back and forth. But other than that, I just started to really kind of like the way that it sounded with me singing the song, which doesn't happen very often.
So I want to talk about putting out into the world creative things that you produce.
Yeah.
So some people just play guitar in their room or in their garage or whatever, and they write songs or write whatever and put it in a drawer and nobody sees it.
Right.
When you first started putting music into the world, were you afraid that some people wouldn't like it? Were you afraid that it wouldn't be accepted?
No, I don't think that ever happened. Actually, because I was one of those, I guess you could say like a late bloomer, maybe in some ways. Musically, I was in a million bands all through my childhood. By the time I was in a band that actually put something out that was on a label that was going to get heard by a lot of people, I was older. You know, I was already in my late 20s, which is older for a musician. You know, so I felt ready at that point, and I felt really proud of the music that we were making. And I was in a great band that I knew was doing something special. So I was, since it was so late into my development, I was ready. And at this point, yeah, now I think putting music out is probably the hardest part about being a musician. Making it is my favorite. And going on stage and playing shows. I love the process of making it, getting ready for a show. I love practicing. You know, and I love all the work that goes into it. Putting it out is often a little bit anticlimactic because it's not really yours anymore. I think I love that stage when you have something that's finished and you can show it to all your friends. I don't know. It's just like this little secret that you have. But yeah, once you put it out, it's just kind of out there. So I'm still dealing with figuring that part out. But yeah.
I want to talk about your teaching.
Sure.
So what do you teach, you know, the skills of how to play the guitar, but are there any like kind of life lessons or lessons about being a musician or being a creative person that you either teach overtly or subconsciously to students, so that if they want to be serious about music, what do they need to know? What do you teach them?
I think that might be kind of different for everybody. For me, it's keeping an open mind and being into everything, finding good in all kinds of different kinds of music and art in general, and just trying to look for inspiration in different places. But I really don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to speak for other people unless I'm sitting in front of them and you know, I can see what they're doing. Yeah, that is either positive or negatively effective. But most of the stuff I teach, honestly, I teach a lot of theory, and I teach a lot of practice skills.
So let's talk about practice, because people think it's like, oh, it's rock and roll or it's whatever it is, and that the glamour of getting on a stage, like the stage that we're on right now, but you have to practice, right? And so anything, that's the best part?
I think that's the best part. I mean, there's nothing better than getting into the room and just playing your music loudly. You know, I recommend for anybody if they're practicing, you know, plug into an amp, you know, or just make yourself real loud, throw in some reverb, and just have some fun and try to just surprise yourself a little bit. And then if you do it enough, when you get on stage, instead of it being this like things moving fast and you're all nervous, it becomes this kind of like experience where you're having a conversation with the crowd, I think, a little bit, because you can loosen up. And I don't know, you've done so much practicing.
Well, some people think, and you and I have talked about how much you practice, right?
Yeah.
But some people think it's like natural skill, like you have a natural ability to write or to sing or to whatever it is, but you think that practice is like at least half of it, right?
At least. I mean, I don't really know if I think about natural skill. I think that some people maybe have, you know, like some things are really harder for some people than others, but I really do think that if you really try and work hard at something, you can do it. You should be able to do it in some way, if there's no physical limitations.
Okay, I want to talk about your songs and the writing of them. So can you walk me through your writing process? First, I guess, if there's a song that has words, and if it doesn't have words, do you have a different sort of routine?
I have so many. I try to do something different every time.
Okay.
So a song could start with sitting around playing the guitar, and something happens, and I'm excited about it, and then I'll start working out. That's the standard way to write a song. You play, something happens, you like it, you go, oh, okay, that's good, and you just start working your way out from there. That's one way I've done it. If another way I do it a lot of the time is kind of pick a speed, tempo, and turn a click track on and try to write to that, or maybe even make up a drum beat that I might take out, you know, maybe program a little drum beat and try to write to that. And as far as writing with lyrics, a lot of the time it's really just a hum. I'll make up the whole song pretty much, and then start humming along, and the words start.
So the music is first for you, and then the lyrics?
I mean, it depends. It really does depend. I have a whole bunch of different processes. Sometimes you sit down and you're sad, and you want to write a song about that. And then that song just kind of starts to happen on its own because you have something you want to say. And sometimes you just do it because you just want to write something. And both are good, and both can result in really emotional outcomes. But I think that if you have a specific process, you're probably going to start repeating yourself a little bit. So I try to keep. I actually try to work on the process continuously more than the song itself.
Okay.
Everybody wants to dance in my playpen, but nobody wants to play in my garden. See the hippies on an angry light. Guess they don't get my meaning. I'm enchanted by the birds and my blossoms. I'm enamored by the lover on a weekend. I like the 4th of July, when bombs start flashing, and I wish I had a shiny red top.